Hi friends, welcome back to Arc Tutorials. This is CSS full tutorial series for absolute beginners. Colors add elegance, add professional look, and also make the HTML pages look beautiful. And hence, you must know everything about how to use colors in CSS. I will show you different ways of how to add colors in CSS. It can be a named color, it can be a hex value, it can be a RGB value, or it can also be a RGBA value. So there are different ways of how you can provide those values. It's very important to learn, as when you work on real-time projects, you're bound to see some values and you should be able to understand what those values are. With that being said, let's get started. This is part 5 of the series. If you have missed out on the first 4 parts, make sure that you go back and check the complete series. Alright, so colors can be specified for text, background, borders, etc. The value, the colors can be named, can be a hex value or a RGB. Most modern browsers support all formats and colors. Okay, so this is just the basic of it, but I'm going to show you different variations when we do hands-on right now. So let's get into that. So I'm in my folder of learning CSS. This is the HTML we have written, just the basic HTML. I know you are beginner, but I'll take it step by step and show you how to write professional web pages. This is my CSS. I've shown you how to include that in the previous episodes, so make sure you check it out. I'm going to open it for you. Just right click, open with any browser, and you will see that. Right now we have this, so don't worry, we'll make it look professional very soon. Alright, so if you see, I've already added some colors, right? So let me go back and show you that. So if you see here, I've written brown, I've written light blue. In the style.css we have added some values, right, which are hex. So today I'm going to talk about that. So for that, I'm going to start beautifying my web page one by one. Okay, so I'm going to do some cleanup here. Instead, I'm going to have say a section, right? This is a semantic tag, and then you can have say div and say class and say section title, and then I am going to have another div. So what is a div? Everything you can check it out in my HTML tutorial if you have missed that. Okay, so this I'm going to talk about a section name. I'm going to call it tutorials. This Arc Tutorials provides excellent tutorials on web development. Okay, so this is my text. Now let's see the output first. So I have my section title and I have my section description. Now let's make it look beautiful. So first I'm going to get rid of this dark background, instead have a light one. Okay, so that's a light color close to white. Now in this I'm going to say section, right? So I'm using the external CSS to style it. So I'm saying wherever you see section, make the color to be 3. Now if you see, I'm putting hash followed by number. This is called a hex value. Hex value because it will have 6 characters. Okay, I'll show you that. It can be a number, it can be with A to F. Okay, that ranges, that's the color range. FFF means whenever you write a shorthand and write 333, it will assume that you're trying to write hex value of 33333, right? So 6 times. That's why it is called hex, because it will have 6 values. Now this is nothing but, if you see here, this is the value dark black, right? But if you select some other value, you can see that value is changing. Now you can choose the color green, yellow, red, whatever you want to choose. You can see the hex value that's being selected here. Okay, so if you say 000, it means it's black. right? It's black. But if you say FFF, that means it is white color, so you can't really read it, but it's here. Okay, so the value ranges from 0 0 0. Values for hex range from 0 0 0, that is 6 times 0, to F F F F F, that is 6 times F. Okay, anything that is in between, it will be picked up. Okay, so if you're not sure, just go ahead, give some random values of your choice, and you would still see that color to be displayed, right? So that is about the hex value. You can also provide named values, like for example, you can say color, you can give here, say red, blue, green, orange, gray, goldenrod, etc., whatever the named values, right? There are 256 named values that you can pick. When you're working with Visual Studio Code Editor, it provides you options to select or choose. You can see here, you don't have to remember everything, you can just pick anything that you would like. Okay, so now you see this color got changed to light salmon, right? Now the third option, the third way to provide that is through RGB values. Okay, so RGB stands for red, green and blue. Okay, so here you are going to give the values, you are going to pass the values between 0 to 255. Okay, now the range is 0 to 255. Now you can give here 0, 0 and 0. It will make it black color. You can see here RGB 000 becomes black. If you select red, it will become 244. But if you give 255, this is pure red, you make it 00, this is your red color, right? You see here. So like I said, the values range between 0 to 255. You can provide any value of your choice, but usually you never pick like that. You always choose a color palette to design it. Okay, now this is light is blue. You see here, this is light, extremely light blue, because we have given wrong value here. Now see, it is green color, right? So this is another way. So first way is to provide hex values, the second is to provide named values, the third is to provide RGB values, the fourth can be RGBA. Okay, RGBA value, where you provide red, green, blue and alpha. Okay, along with RGB values you provide the alpha. Okay, so that is the color, that's the intent. Like for example, if you have to use say 255 and 10, 100 and 40, and here you're going to specify what value you will give, say 0.5, right? Now for paragraph, I'm going to write a para inside it. Say this is RGBA value, right? So you see here, it is little bit lightish kind of thing, right? So that's the alpha value that you provide. Okay, so these are the four ways you can provide the color into CSS or into HTML pages in a broader aspect. You can either use color, you can either use hex value, you can use named value, you can use RGB value, or you can use RGBA value. So these are the four ways you can provide colors into CSS. As we progress in this series, I'll be using a mix of this so that you learn and practice everything with me as we move along. I hope this topic is clear, because going forward, a lot of things we will see using them in backgrounds, borders, etc. So I thought it's a good idea to touch base on the topic. Thank you for joining in this episode. In the next episode, I'll talk about the background colors in CSS, how to set background color. Thank you so much for joining. See you in the next episode.